The Council of Christians and Jews in New South Wales and throughout Australia promotes education in order for us to appreciate each other's distinctive histories, beliefs and practices, as well as our commonalities flowing from the fundamental ethical teachings of Christianity and Judaism. We facilitate research into issues of conflict and social justice by holding events and talks with speakers from differing backgrounds. This encourages goodwill and understanding, as well as debate and inquiry by the community at large. We promote interfaith as a means of making a world of difference by encouraging people to listen to each other and by acts of tikkun olam, to heal the earth. Come and experience the satisfaction and enjoyment of making a difference, helping people to understand each other and learning along the way.
In every religious tradition, every human culture has pondered the question, what does it constitute to be good? As a Christian, I will answer from a Christian perspective. And I hope that there's no greater difference between what I say and what Rabbi will say.
We may think of the Old Testament God as a vengeful and vindictive being, and the New Testament God as gracious and genial and friendly. Of course, it's the same God.
Jesus is a Jew, born of a Jewish mother, brought up as a Jew, with a degree of learning of Jewish sources, an observer of the Sabbath and the food laws, a Jew. Would he have liked what some of the writers say about his people, the Jews?
The point is to understand not only where we disagree, but also where we agree. And this afternoon, what I'd like to do is talk about some of those points of agreement. We're taking some of the words attributed to Jesus in the Gospels, make sense within a first century Jewish context. And here, no matter how we will disagree on Jesus' messianic status, we can to a great deal agree on the message of justice that he was trying to proclaim.
As the centuries went by, Christians became increasingly troubled by the apparently inescapable logic. Jesus and the apostles were Jewish. The Jewish Bible is different to ours. Therefore, Christians should have the Jewish Bible in both canon and text. This is totally logical, but as you can see, it's based on a lack of knowledge about the fluidity of the Bible text in Jesus' time and before.
That the Shoah took place at all reflects the reality, the hard, the cruel reality, that anti-Semitism and Judeophobia are not Jewish problems. They are first and foremost Christian problems. Christians made them Jewish problems. If I see my neighbour bleeding, to paraphrase the Talmud, I must do something. I must do something. That so-called Christian Europe during the years of the Shoah opted in the main to do nothing stands as a condemnation for the Christian churches of Europe.
What will the end be? I don't know. Will the Pope resign? It's most unlikely. He has got it wrong. I mean, really wrong. And he would at the very least have to come out and say so. I've got it so wrong. I've really hurt all the Jewish people in the world, and I've harmed the Catholic Church deeply.
I never heard a talk or witnessed anything which was as significant, important, as honest as we've been hearing today.
The greatest danger, especially when you think about children, the way they react to what comes to them from television or from media, which is quite often now corralled by only one or two people in the world. We're getting information from really very limited source, although it looks like it's coming from everywhere, is the fact that they begin to look at the world in a very simplistic way. And I don't want my children to do that. I want them to think. I want them to break something down. I don't want them to see that these people who were involved with the atrocities during World War II were monsters. They were cartoons. They weren't. They were human beings. What resides in all of us resided in them.
The majority of doctors and of scientists which included also almost all of those responsible for the racial and scientific ideologies prevailing in the Third Reich, were able to return to normal life.
I think we've got some very interesting material today. We've opened doors, we've been challenged, we've come from the political and the historical. We've also got to put the ethical overlay on it.
The topic we're looking at today is one about what we dare imagine.
What kinds of manipulation of human life we want to be complicit in as a community? What kind of a society are we building in the process? Pope John Paul II said, "The deliberate decision to deprive an innocent human being, even an embryo, of his life is always morally evil."
Within Jewish law, though, we don't really treat an embryo pre-birth as a life in being. And if we can give life and restore life through embryonic stem cell research, then perhaps that is the godly thing to do.
As I expect to be respected for who I am, well, clearly I respect the follower of Jesus for who he or she may be.
Hello, I'm Paul O'Shea. As an active member of the New South Wales Council of Christians and Jews, I want to assure you that our organisation is working actively and in a significant way in interfaith understanding. It is of value to your life and to your beliefs to come to a greater awareness of how we can live well with one another. So I invite you to join us in our work of common understanding in the Council of Christians and Jews. We are only an email away. Our website is www.ccjaustralia.org.